is now being recorded.
Hi, it's Mark Medina with the LA Times Lakers blog. Well, the trade deadline passed, and the Lakers decided to keep its current roster intact as they try to three-peat. There's definitely one major trade that's caught the Lakers' attention. This one involves the Oklahoma City Thunder acquiring Kendrick Perkins and Nate Robinson from the Boston Celtics for Jeff Green and Nag Hurstick and the Clippers' 2012 first-round pick. And Oklahoma City also made another deal that involved trading shooting guard Morris Peterson for DJ White to the Charlotte Bobcats in exchange for another center in Nazar Muhammad. And considering the Lakers visit Oklahoma City Sunday, it's only fitting in this edition of Lakers Roundtable to bring in the Oklahoman Thunder beat writer, Darnell Mayberry. Darnell, how you doing?
Good, Mark. What's up?
Well, first things first, what does this trade do for the Thunder, namely with Kendrick Perkins?
It gives them a low post presence, an interior defender who can hopefully shore up this team's defense. That's been a problem for this team all season, and Perkins is a guy who's known as one of the best man-on-man defenders in this league, so we're going to see. He's expected to have a big impact, and, they're expecting things out of him in Oklahoma City.
Now, the Lakers' reaction was a little bit interesting. I mean, they all respect Kendrick Perkins because of the toughness they brought in defense, the way he set screens for Boston, which is why some were actually surprised that the Celtics traded him away. And then, of course, Phil Jackson got his little dig in to Doc Rivers saying that they'll go down as never having lost a playoff series. But they were all, I guess, uncertain as far as how Oklahoma City plans to use Kendrick Perkins. Have you gotten a sense how they plan to use him in that respect in terms of just lineup combinations?
No, I mean, it's a little early for that. He's a little banged up right now. He's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks with a knee injury. He's got a sprained left knee, so he's going to be on the shelf for a while. But when he does get back, I expect them to be able to use him like pretty much basically like how Boston used him. He's a guy who can play his man straight up. You don't have to give him much help down there, and that should free up other guys on the perimeter and let them be able to not sag off their man so much, and which has been giving up open three-pointers to teams a lot this season. So I just think he's going to try to anchor the defense and be back there and provide steady post defense and rebound well and block shots. They're not going to ask him to do much on the offensive end. They've got the leading scorer in Kevin Durant and second highest scoring duo in Durant and Westbrook. So I think they're fine offensively. And if he could just get some putbacks and finish dump off passes, I think that's good enough for him offensively. Defense is really what they need out of him.
Now, obviously, you mentioned that he's expected to be out for 2 or 3 weeks, so we won't exactly see that in tomorrow's game. But as far as, say Oklahoma City meets the Lakers again in the playoffs, how do you see them matching up with them with, this new addition that they have?
Oh, this is the greatest thing about the trade, if you ask me. You got Serge Ibaka now at power forward, who you have to talk about. You got his length and athleticism right next to Kendrick Perkins, size and his strength. So I think that's a hell of a tandem to have right there in your front court, especially if you're looking at a potential playoff series against the Lakers front line of Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum. You can basically play those guys straight up, and not too many teams can do that. And then you got Nazar Muhammad, who you mentioned earlier, coming off the bench, another veteran guy with championship experience, and then Nick Collison backing up Serge at power forward. That gives you incredible depth and skill and savvy from those positions. So, I think that if it all comes together, they've only got about 26 games left to figure it out. Perkins is probably going to miss 7 or 9 of those games. So, they got to piece it together pretty quickly. But if they do, I think they could be scary in the playoffs.
You mentioned a little bit about Serge Ibaka. Whenever, Kendrick is expected to come out, who else do you foresee having to almost adjust or change the role in any respect besides him?
James Harden is a guy who has to step up now. You know, you lose some offense and you're starting power forward Jeff Green and starting center Nenad Kirstic, and you know, somebody's got to replace that offense. You got to look at Serge as a starter. He's got to become a little bit more offensive oriented, be able to knock down shots in the pick and pop situations with Russell Westbrook. But then also James Harden coming off the bench. As long as he continues to come off the bench, he's got to be a spark plug whenever called upon, and he's got to be able to knock down shots consistently and also create shots for others. He was really good as a playmaker last year, and he's been sort of up and down this year. But if he can get back to that consistently, this team's going to be fine offensively. And you got Nate Robinson, who also came over in the trade that brought Perkins from the Celtics. I don't think we'll see him much to start, but he's as explosive as they come off the bench. He can put up points in a hurry, and you know, if he gets an opportunity, he's another guy who can fill it up.
We're speaking with the Oklahoman Darnell Mayberry. You can follow him on Twitter with his full name at Darnell Mayberry. And Darnell, we were actually kind of talking during the All-Star break a little bit about you know, the Lakers and the Thunder, and one of the things that has, you know, been kind of interesting from the Lakers standpoint is ever since they played Oklahoma City last year in the first round, kind of the common sentiment among the team is just how much of a tough test that they gave them, and that they really felt that it was a good matchup to have early in the postseason because it forced them to wake up a little bit. And on top of that, there's kind of a concern from their end that, you know, you look down further down the line in the next few years as a team that's definitely going to give them challenges. How about from the Thunder's end, when they kind of look back at that first round series that they had with the Lakers that went to 6 games, what do you think that they got out of that?
I think they just look at it as a learning experience. You know, who better to learn from than the champions who eventually won, you know, back-to-back championships. So, you know, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Anthony Bynum, Derek Fisher, you know, those guys, veteran guys who you can learn from. And you know, they really did take a lot of lessons out of that loss in Game 6 and that series. So, you know, I think just going forward, they're just trying to build off of that and try to keep the pieces together so they can move forward and try to have an even better showing in the postseason this year.
Right. And so when you talk about the lessons, any specifically that come into mind that they've talked about?
Well, you know, just kind of doing the little things. I mean, you know, much has been made about the missed box out that they had at the end of Game 6. Pau Gasol came in and got the tip in off of Kobe Bryant's miss. Little things like that, you know, closing out quarters, inbounds plays, you know, sticking with it for 48 minutes and playing with intensity for a full game, things like that. I mean, you see that when you go up against a championship team like the Lakers and, you know, just how much purpose they played with throughout the game. I think that these young guys out here are really trying to be able to work that into the way they play.
And obviously, coming into this game against the Lakers in the present time, the Thunder have lost 2 straight, and obviously they've had an under-manned lineup since that trade. But you know, since that's still going to be happening, obviously with Perkins' injury, how do they kind of compensate for their shortcomings when LA visits them?
It's going to be tough. I mean, this thing could have turned into a bloodbath tomorrow. It's not a good little stretch of the season for the Thunder right now. You're right. They went to San Antonio. They played well. They were competitive, had a chance to win it in the final 10 seconds, but came up short, and then they just got killed in Orlando. Dwight Howard put up 40 points and 15 rebounds, 6 block shots. So that shows you how much they needed a big man. So if Bynum and Gasol get going, then it could be a long day for the Thunder on Sunday. So. But Nazr Muhammad coming, I think, is going to be a big help. They didn't have him against Orlando to try to put up a fight against Dwight Howard. They had to rely more on, you know, a natural power forward and Nick Collison and a rookie center and Cole Aldridge. So, and a second-year guy who's also a natural power forward in Ibaka. So, you know, the fact that they do have Muhammad coming in and he'll be able to at least provide some emergency minutes there tomorrow against that Lakers front line.
And lastly, Darnell, I'm looking through the standings here, and, obviously San Antonio's got that lead for first place, the 48-10 record. Mavericks are about 1.5 games over the Lakers. Lakers are in third place with a 3.5 game lead over Oklahoma City. And then the Thunder with, a fourth place standing, they have about a 2.5 game lead over New Orleans. Obviously there's some more games to play, but how do you see from Oklahoma City's end, how do you see them finishing up in the West?
Well, it's going to be interesting because they have taken a hit. There's no doubt about it with this trade. I mean, they're going to be shorthanded for a little bit with Perkins being out. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they're able to maintain that 4th seed, New Orleans and Portland. Portland just keeps on winning. They just got Brandon Roy back now. So if they can hold off those two teams and maintain this 4th seed. But, I think, with the firepower that they have and the chemistry that they do have still intact with Durant and Westbrook, Ibaka has to step up a little bit. I think they'll be able to hold on, but I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch because, until you get Perkins in and they get some chemistry down, I think wins could be tough to come by.
Well, those are the thoughts of the Oklahoman Darnell Mayberry. Thanks a lot for your time, man.
All right, Mark, thanks.
All right, have a good one.